This circle of fifths chord progression can also be used in minor keys. The process is very similar. The only difference is we're going to end up with different qualities of chords, because if you remember when we talked about the diatonic triads, the diatonic triads in major keys are different from the diatonic triads in minor keys, and that's going to affect the chord progression here. So let's see what we end up with. Start with A minor, because it's always good to start with an easy one. And remember, we're working from the end of a chord progression and going backwards. Okay, so we're starting with the final 1 chord. In minor keys, it's a minor 1. Since we're in A minor, I'm going to start with A, count up a fifth. A, B, C, D, E. All right, so the root note is E. Okay. Now, we're in the key of A minor. What chord can be built on the note E? The answer is that it's the dominant chord. Okay. Now, if you remember when we talked about diatonic triads, we actually have 2 possibilities of dominant chords. We have a minor 5, and we also have a major 5. Okay? And if you're not sure what I'm talking about here, then I would encourage you to go back and review some of the lessons beforehand. Okay? Because it definitely gets a little bit more confusing here, as always, with minor keys. Now, to figure out which one we want, ask yourself, which is the most common one? And the answer is the major 5 chord. Okay? So what we're doing is building an E major chord. We need the notes E, G sharp, and B. So we might put something like this. Okay? Now, let's continue working backwards. This time, starting with the note E, count up a fifth. E, F, G, A, B. We get to the note B. Okay. Now, again, what chord can be built on the note B? And the answer is a supertonic chord. But, again, we have 2 possibilities. We've got a minor 2 chord, but we also have a diminished 2 chord. Again, ask yourself, which is the most common? And the most common is the diminished 2. So what we're looking for is a B diminished chord. Might write something like that. Okay? Again, starting with B, we've got B, C, D, E, F. All right? The root note is F. Okay? Again, what chord can be built on the note F? The answer is a major 6 chord, or a submedian chord. So, again, we're looking for an F major chord. Okay. We might write something like this. Okay. Again, starting with F, we count up a fifth. F, G, A, B, C. Root note is C. What chord can be built on the note C? The answer? A major 3 chord, or median chord. All right? So again, we're looking for a C major chord. And I might write something like this. Okay? And let's keep going. Starting with C, C, D, E, F, G. We get to a root note of G. Okay? Again, what note can be built on, or what chord can be built on the note G? The answer? A major 7 chord. So, we're looking for a G major chord, and we probably write something like this. Okay? So, what we've just written is a circle of fifths chord progression for minor keys. Yet again, it's a little bit odd to start on the 7 chord, so we want to start it off with something a little bit stronger. So let's go ahead and put another 1 chord, and since we're in minor, then it's going to be a minor 1 key. All right, and you can write a chord on top of that. So this is the complete circle of fifths chord progression for minor keys. And again, we're using it as a starting point. Of course, not all music uses this, but a lot more music than you can imagine is derived from this. They might use just parts of the chord progression. Some of it's rearranged, some of it's reversed, okay? But a lot of it can be traced back to the circle of fifths chord progression, and that's why we're using it as a starting point. This will become a lot more clear over the next few chapters because you're going to get very familiar with it over the next few chapters, I promise you. All right, so for right now, do a little practice with it, and then I'll see you in the next lesson whenever I see you.